So guys, hello and welcome to this tutorial. This is the part 2 of the datatypes that I discussed in the previous tutorial. So if you are new to this tutorial, you need to watch the previous tutorial to understand what is happening in this tutorial. So fine. So we discussed up to this in the previous tutorial. Now we're going to see the features or uses of data. I don't know what to call it, features or uses. I don't know. So I just wrote features or uses. Basically, we're just going to discuss what we can do with data types. Fine. So first of all, the first thing is data types can be used as functions to convert Python numbers. So by that, what I mean is, let us go to the PyCharm and let us use data type. Suppose simple. Let us have a number which is equal to, let us say, numpy dot. Now if you want to convert that into float value, the float 64 value, so you can simply write float 64 and inside parentheses write the number that you want to convert. So suppose you want to convert 20, 42 or 24, whatever it is, 24 into float value, you can convert it and you can simply print out the number. And if you run this code now, it will print out 24.0. So basically we use it to convert, we use the numpy library to convert that 24 into a floating point value, or you can do the reverse as well. So if you write 24.52, you can convert it into an integer value as well. So integer, let us say integer 32, and now if you run this code, it will print out the number 24 only. It will convert it basically. So you don't need to write it in the whole detail. So you can simply print out it directly by using numpy dot, let us say, float 64. So float 64 of, let us say, 45, and if you run this code, it will use the floating point value. So fine, this was one of the uses of it. Now the second thing is data types can be referred by character codes. So by this, what I mean is there are some character codes that you need to know, but if you are familiar to C language or C++, then you might know these. So this question mark stands for Boolean, B stands for signed byte, capital B stands for unsigned byte, I stands for integer, U stands for unsigned integer, F for floating point, C for complex point, and these are like so on. I don't think we use them a lot, but we use I, D and so on. So fine, we can use I, or you can use F actually. F is a common thing, so we can use F in the coding part. So first of all, let us do one thing. Let us create an array. ARR equals to, we created by using array function. So just for some change, let us use the zeros function. So numpy dot zeros, we can create an array of zeros, and if you run this code, nothing will happen because I didn't print it out. So print out ARR, fine. So it will print out arrays of zeros. Now what we can do, you can convert the data type, right? I told you all that you can write dtype equals to, suppose integer, and run this code. It will work. There will be no error. But you can use the short form as well. So suppose you write just I and run this code, still it will work. Sorry, in double inverted commas. How can I forget it? Yeah. And now if you run this code, it will not throw us any error. It will simply work. So you can write I, you can write F, which means floating point value. You can write C, which means complex values. No, not complex values. Hold on, where it is? Yeah. So this B means signed byte, and so you can do this. You can work on it. So fine, I think that's all about this function. Now let us discuss the next function or feature, whatever it is. We can change the type of array by using dot as type and the data type that we want to change to. So dot as type, let us discuss it. Again, let us have some array ARR equals to the same. Let us use the zeros function. Now let us use the ones function now for change. Dot ones of 5, and let us print it out. Print ARR and run this code. So it will print out 5, 5 elements, one that are floating point value. Now let us use the as type function that I discussed. So you can use print ARR. You want to change the, so by as type, what it means is you want to change the data type of ARR. So let us write ARR dot as type. So it already suggests us, and inside the parentheses of as type, you can write the data type that in which you want to convert this array into. So suppose if I write float and if I run this code, wow, I need to get some sleep. It was already into float, but I still converted it into float. Wow. So let us do one thing. Let us convert it into an integer. Now it works. So see, now it will convert this ARR, which was in floating point values, into an integer. We can convert it into complex as well, because we always convert it into integers. So let us do something new. So complex. So we can get complex values as well. So this was one of the uses. Now let us see the next use. So we can use the data type itself as a function. So how to do it is, you can write syntax. The syntax is basically numpy dot float 64 and array name. So this is one more way actually to convert it. So you can use this way to convert dot as type way, or you can do one more thing. You can write print ARR, not ARR actually, numpy dot float. So basically this is the data type that you want to convert it into, float 64 or normally float, whatever you want. And inside this the array name. So if you write ARR now and if you run this code, so see we are getting ARR in 3 different values, not 3. Let us use integer here. Yeah, now run this code. Integer 32. Yeah, so see now what is happening. First of all, we have the ARR because we know that in ones and zeros the default data type is float 64. So we get the array in float 64 values. So afterwards, when we use ARR.as type function, we can convert all the data types into float complex values. Then we can use one more way to convert it, that is this thing. This thing actually, numpy.integer 32. So basically, when I told you can convert the numbers as well, you can do this for numbers. So numpy dot, let us say integer 32 again, or complex. So complex, and you can write the any random number. So probably you write 67. So basically what you are doing is you can write integer 32, you can write anything, but you can inside the parentheses whatever you write, it gets changed. This is a function actually by which you can change. So I think that is all from my side. I have thrown a lot of bunch of information on you. You can catch it, or even if you miss it and not understand it, you can ask me in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them. You can subscribe to my channel for more such program related content. Until then, stay tuned and keep learning. Thank you.